Hello, you. Welcome to Geekism, and welcome back to Pinewood Hills, where today, at least for the beginning part of this episode, I'm joined by a guest. Please say hello to Mineral.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I have to thank you, first of all, for jumping on in the dead of night back in the UK.
Yeah, it is 3:08. No, it's not. It's only 11:30.
It's late for me. I'm early to bed, man. I'm done by about 10 p.m. most nights. But
I'm a little bit of a night owl, and I'm off work at the moment. It tends to get worse when I'm off work. I just things get away from me.
There's no alarm clock going off.
Yeah.
So people in the community probably know you from working on various projects over the years. I noticed on Twitter you're doing the same as all of us, which is just having a little dip back in, you know.
It's contagious. It was John, really, like you said in the last episode. Once I saw John's Conifer Slopes, coming back, I was just, couldn't resist.
Yeah, not Pinewood Hills, Conifer Slopes, different tree, different word for terrain variation. But the reason you're here is there has been an addition to Pinewood Hills, thanks to you. So we'll scooch over. Let's have a look. All the way over here in our drone.
Yeah.
To this. Wow, look at this.
Indeed.
So what are we looking at?
Well, this is, it's a stately home. You said in the last episode that you were wanting to add a stately home, and I thought, I've got this stately home that I built for an old project, which I abandoned many years ago. I can say many years ago, because it was literally 6 years ago at this point.
It's crazy how that's true now, many years ago in this game, eh?
And it's just been sitting on my hard drive with all my other dead projects. And I thought, that would be really good for this. So I sent you a message. And then, funnily enough, obviously, I messaged you on Discord and we realised that we'd had this exact exchange.
It was quite funny, So you reached out on Twitter. I reached out on Twitter and I was like, listen, I've got this stately home. And then he was like, I'll ping you on Discord because it's a bit easier to chat. And literally, like 5 or 6 years ago, I think I tweeted you saying... I think I'd messaged you because you must have showed a picture of this on Twitter or something.
I think that's
and I was like, oh my God, that stately home's amazing. If you, let me have it.
So,
And at the time, you were like, no, it's for a project.
And obviously that project's now dead. So,
as most of them are, let's be honest, from all of us.
Exactly, I basically just popped it in here, and then it was really just a case of fleshing out the grounds of the home. The house itself is sort of cribbing from Tintsfield, I think it's called, which is in Somerset.
Oh, okay. And this is like a National Trust spot, is it?
Yes, I think it is a National Trust spot, and it is a particular era of architecture that I'm going to look up on Google. It's Victorian Gothic Revival.
Oh, there you go.
Which has this cool sort of distinctive look. Quite a lot of the stately homes in the UK have got this similar kind of.
It was kind of when a lot of them went up, right? In the sort of Victorian times, and then they sort of went back to they were referencing a lot of like 15th century Eastern European stuff, like with the real sort of archways and pillars and what have you. So it looks exactly like the sort of stuff I was dragged around as a kid.
I'm kind of a fan of the old National Trust property, to be honest. I like a good...
Now, I definitely am, and always try and do a couple when I get back to the UK. But as a kid, I was like, why aren't we at Water Park? Or why aren't we at Blackpool? Or, But it might be worth mentioning to people then, because obviously we get a lot of views from all over the world, and I do feel that this is very much a UK thing. The National Trust is an organisation that sort of looks after all of this stuff, or at least makes it so that people can't mess them up.
I'm not sure how much kind of maintenance they actually do on the
properties. But they have like a status. They sort of give buildings a status that sort of says you leave this alone, and if you if you want to do anything to it, it has to be sort of in keeping with the time period and what have you, right?
It's usually some descendant of like a manor lord or whatever who's inherited this enormous property that they don't have the capability of maintaining by themselves. And they kind of donate it to the National Trust, and then...
Yeah, so it's a huge tax write-off for some old money billionaire. But then also, it keeps the stuff going and keeps the stuff, with it. And then basically they sort of put velvet rope stanchions everywhere and open it up to the public, and you can go in and pay $20 to look around the place, basically.
Yeah.
So,
and then you can pay for an ice cream on the way out.
Yeah, which we can do down here.
Indeed.
In the Coach House Cafe, which is a great little addition as well. This is perfect because I assume the idea here is that it was the Coach House at some point.
Exactly. Yeah, these kinds of places always have kind of reappropriated buildings like gatehouses and coach houses, which have been turned into vectors for commerce.
Yeah, exactly. Get the money in, and the money just basically pays for the groundskeepers, pays for the people who look after these beautiful lawns. This is awesome. This little TMTK piece here. See if I can zoom in. Please keep off the grass. That's great. A really perfect addition.
Yeah. I tried not to use too much TMTK, but there's a couple of little pieces that I think are just worth the...
So for me personally, I don't go too heavy on TMTK. That's the exact sort of thing that I think is perfect because that's just that would be impossible to do in the game, right? Or you could
do an impression of it, but there'd be no text or
you could do a little the little screen mount upside down would basically look like that, but you're having to sort of guess what it means, whereas here it looks perfect for it. So it's obviously the foliage needs to come up to it, the tree line needs to come up to it, but you've actually done a really great job of sort of grounding it in the space. We have this awesome sort of
got a gravel car park.
A gravel car park, which is fantastic. Very sort of in keeping with the scale and the cost of this kind of place. It would be most likely this sort of thing. Awesome little pay here spots here. That annoyingly the snow turns itself back on each time. Have you noticed that?
I thought I'd gone in and turned that off, but.
You had it I don't know if it's a bug or if I'm doing something wrong, but they turn themselves back on.
Okay.
And you have to go in and turn one of them off, and once you turn one of them off, they all catch up. It's really weird.
Okay.
So I'll do it for like POV shots at the end or what have you. But then we also have a little just sort of maintenance shed here, I guess, just a
little toilet for people on the way through.
Toilet, yeah. Again, it would have been at some point a little sort of check post as you sort of made your way up to the main gates, which have been here, and then this is perhaps the actual owner's car. He's been off-roading.
Yeah, he's been driving around the grounds.
He's done a Prince Philip and knocked over a gardener in it.
Exactly.
Sorry, it's good. There might be a few British references that North American viewers might not get here, but it has this beautiful thing here. So the reason I really wanted one of these in, not just because these are a staple of the UK, a good chunk of UK theme parks are offshoots of these buildings.
Yeah, well, I mean, Old Tower's the biggest one, is literally just that.
Yeah. Drayton Manor as well was built on the grounds of the manor, like it's literally in the name there, the Manor of Drayton. And I'm pretty sure there's a couple of others as well, and there's definitely a few that have much smaller scale. They just have like a carousel and maybe a couple of other sort of off the shelf flat rides kind of thing. But it's a very common thing because, like you said, often it's a eighth generation inherited this place, absolutely can't keep the thing up and running, and then they sell off the land to a company to do something like this with. So it was always the plan for Pinewood Hills. It was always going to be that it's on the land of Pinewood Manor. It's just something I never really got round to, and now I'm at the point where I'm like, yes, new stuff would be cool, but I really want to try and finish this as opposed to just keep working on it indefinitely. So but when you came to me and was like, it's pretty much done, it'll just take sort of the best part of half a day to ground it, I couldn't not jump at it really. So as far as how it sort of fits in, we're gonna bring this road along here and up to it from here. So this will be the actual entrance to the manor grounds, basically. So we'll have to do like a sort of gate, a larger gate here, and then we're also going to have a path, a walking path that then comes over what will be a road that accesses the this backstage area here. So it is all still connected into the park. Will be the plan. I think I might need some sort of little ticket booth somewhere to be like.
There is a tiny little booth on the road on the way in from the main.
On the way
road.
in,
yeah. It's like as with the national where that car's parked. Yeah. It's like with the National Trust. They've got a very kind of low key little booth that you pull up to, and they check you. It's
just an old deer with a back of ticket stubs, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the idea is you could come in to just do this if you wanted to. Or you can also access it if you are in the theme park for the day.
Yeah, I guess you need some kind of booth so between the park.
Yeah, there'll be something here. Just to double check. But that's very easily done. I have no problem fixing that. Putting that in again. I'm very happy that you said you would come and do this for me and not just give me a blueprint of a mansion. I'm very happy that all of this is put in.
It was a nightmare to blueprint anyway, to be honest, because it's way more than 5,000 pieces, and it's all lots of different buildings and things, so it's probably
I don't want to click in. So somebody will comment, and I know they will, that I built a manor house way back and never got to put it down. I'm just wondering,
did you do this on a live stream or something?
I might have done, yeah. Let's have a look. So Silversmith is at this. Yes. Is that what you called it?
No, it should be called...
Oh. Maybe I downloaded another one at some point. But here, look, Pinewood Manor. Oop, there we go. So I had a go at one of these a long time ago, and obviously don't look at the back.
It's absolutely massive.
It's absolutely massive, way too tall, and just a big old block. So yes, if anyone wants to know why we're not using it, it's because we have this now beautiful, actually in scale, and referencing a particular architecture as well, as opposed to just being like, I'm just going to put some brick things together and see what happens. The only thing I might think about doing perhaps is throwing a flat ride in here,
just to get more people over,
just to see if we can get a couple of people wandering up, because it'd be quite nice.
There's some coffee vending machines inside the cafe, and then I put what are they called?
Those, yeah.
There's like a visitor point at the end of the other garden with the fountain, like on the little kind of circular thing.
Yeah. I see. Yes, just the moment of coming to look. I'm not sure it's going to be enough.
Pull people over,
No, and to be honest, a flat might not be either, because if we look down here and look at like flats that are like in the park, there's 4 people, 6 people on this thing, right? So that's mostly because I also have people. I like having people wander around while I'm building, but I don't. Like if I just didn't put a limit on this, there'd be like 15,000 people.
I was surprised at how well the park was running. To be honest, I guess that's because there's just not that many people in it.
Yeah, I think it's 500 is the lowest you can have, and I think that's what there is. Just so that there's a few people wandering around, but basically with 500 people, they just fill the coasters. Basically, they just fill the coaster. So if you look, even this coaster is a walk-on. But some of the others, the haunted house, I think, probably has a crazy queue just because of how highly themed the game considers it to be, with all the bits inside it.
The old trick that I think Mike used to do was, I think it's the cat dark ride, the one with the little cats, and you just make it like a tiny little loop. Yeah. And then put loads of gold treasure chests, I think it is.
Yes. So I don't know if it's still there, but I'm pretty sure I did that in the cinema.
And it's not.
To get people in there. Working. It probably isn't.
Here we go.
Yeah, there it is. Look at that. It's like a dungeon. But yeah, even that look isn't quite enough to it's kind of getting full.
Frontier nerfed it.
Yeah, they must have done. But yeah, that was the trick, right? That was how you got people into these buildings that we built.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. I got a few people in the cinema, but just have them wander around, because otherwise so many of the paths would be empty. Yeah. So, but yeah, if we can maybe do that over here as well. Just even if like 3 people wander up here, that little bit of kinetic movement I think makes a big difference.
It'd be nice to see people wandering around. Yeah.
Absolutely, but no, it's gorgeous. I've just realised this is still here. That can go.
I moved that out of the way. I was like,
was that dumped down there? Was it down in the valley? That's been replaced by Emax's much better SLC over here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but there you go. It's absolutely awesome. Pinewood Manor exists, and Mineral, thank you so much for putting it in. I'm going to do the whole YouTuber thing where you say, where can people find you? I mean, do you want people to find you?
They can find me on Twitter. I think it's @mineral. I actually don't know what my Twitter handle is because I've been on there in so long. Yeah, @mineralzone on Twitter.
Oh, there you go.
You can find
you can
me.
also have a look at mine. I'll have definitely retweeted some of the stuff that Mineral's been working on, and I'm very active in the Bro Nation Discord as well. You know, I know a lot of the people who watch here will be there as well. So, but yeah, this is amazing. Thank you so much for doing it for me. My job now to tie it all in and make it,
have fun with that,
and finish it basically. First update then, and to be honest, it doesn't really look like much has happened, but I have spent the best part of an hour just kind of starting to figure out where the pathing is going. None of this is final. To be honest, it won't be until the coaster gets pulled in, really, but wanted to kind of finish up what's happening here and sort of really flesh out what this backstage will be. All of the stuff this side for the chairlift here is gone. I think it was just too tricky to kind of make that bridge that came over here look good and work and do what it was. So the chairlift is now going to spew out on this side, but to be honest, that's fine by me because now we can sort of say that it was probably put in. I mean, it looks very 70s. We can say that it was put in around the same time as this area, which is going to be a sort of 80s. Updates as late 70s, early 80s update with the Boomerang here. So that kind of makes sense now. It'll punch out over here and it'll feed this half of the park. You've got the water ride, the Boomerang, and then people can walk around into the adventure area. And then also we've started to work on what will become eventually the walking bridge over to... Is somebody who's actually come over here? Oh yeah, look at that. Did you just come over for a coffee, did you? You are getting far out of the way, but I'm happy. Because I haven't done anything else over here yet. So that's going to be over there. Much later date, that one. That won't be done this episode. I just wanted to get the straight path across the road boxed in, and we've put a truck here. So it's going to be a low level bridge. Nothing past a box truck is going to get through here, but that's fine by me. Anything else would have just been too ostentatious to get people up and over, I feel. So happy enough with that then. This road now comes up and round, and then we haven't had to do much here other than box in a little bit of an area here. Absolutely ignore this water ride. I have no idea why that's there. Some sort of idiot would put this in when they're trying to get the park finished, wouldn't they? I mean, really. So, but we've tidied up this area here. All of this will get fleshed in. So this is definitely going to be the sort of back end of the park with this backstage coming up to whatever this is going to be. I don't know. Today's job is this. So next up, we need to get this coaster supported. Now, I'm not normally one for custom supports. Normally, I'm pretty happy with what the game does. But the Vekoma, the Boomerang here it's relatively simple to support because it is a sort of off-the-shelf model. Look at the state of this. This is all going to get fixed, by the way. I'm going to we're going to reprofile the whole thing, and then once that's done, I'm going to try and custom support it because, the supports are pretty simple because it's an off-the-shelf coaster. There's lots of reference images out there. And the game does a pretty good job of generating this at the back here, but this should actually just be one big piece that supports both of these things at once. That actually looks pretty good, but, it makes sense that the game can't figure out that these two are next to each other and generate one set of supports, I suppose. But that's pretty solid. We'll do something like that, and then a little bit of supporting on the front here. But the main thing is we have these awesome, big V supports off the two sides of the bat roll here, and it's nice to get a little bit of interaction with those. So I'm thinking we actually try and get them so that they are, or at least one of them is actually over the path here, and the Boomerang sort of the switchback there comes right over the path. So going to do a little bit of reprofiling on the ride. Okay, slight change of plan. Reprofiled the ride. Much happy with how it works out now. We don't have a weird kink in the track here, and kind of put it roughly where I think it needs to sit. Maybe a little closer to the path would be cool, but happy with how it looks now. Much happy with how it sits in the area. But didn't want to. We'll do supports in a minute, but got a moment of inspo for this little food court here, so we've added this here. Reuse some of the roofing from the boat ride. I'm kind of happy doing this, to be honest. I'll probably do it on the Boomerang station as well. The idea is that this will have been an extension to the park. These three things will have been put in together. in the sort of late 70s. So very happy for the reuse of stuff. One, it makes it a little quicker for me, means I can turn stuff around a little quicker for both the save file and for you folks watching. But also, it keeps the area copacetic. So there are some mild changes. The trim is a little different, but for the most part, we keep stuff running over. And this is just a all-in-one building here. So along the front here, we have some quick service restaurants. I have to remember, one of the big reasons Pinewood exists is that it is a British park, and even though I'm no longer living in Britain, which is kind of crazy to think that I started this in a different continent, I still want to make sure that some of those British influences still come across. So still trying to use a lot of references from British parks, but also the correct spelling of donuts and candy floss, not cotton candy. Just little things like that, I think we have to remember to ground ourselves. So we have a little staff area there, which pushes out to... This would actually just be one long kitchen here with different sort of units that you can go to. Obviously, the game is a little bit limited in how we can do, but I think the effect of comes across there, just to basically a big kitchen that people come in and you can go to any of these and order whatever you like from any of them. Then we're reusing some early assets that we made. I still think these are fine, ketchup and mustard, napkins and some recycling. That's no problem there. They still hold up really well. And then around the back we have a toilet block, and then the gap is filled with a couple of Midway games. One thing I took from one of Nerd Chatter's recent videos is he was doing a Blackpool style park, and he's very right in saying that these parks fill any single speck of empty space with a way to generate revenue. So we're going to be trying to squeeze these in as much as we can, and they just kind of fit there on the back of the kitchen unit. Whether or not there's actually enough space inside there to get everything they need, I don't really know. I think from the outside it looks fine. And then we start sort of filling in the area here, spread the table out with an extra area of tarmac with the food tables here and some benches, and just sort of really fleshing this area out and making it all sort of copacetic and work together as an expansion, which does mean we are going to have to support this. I've been putting it off. Okay, let's go. Right, support time-lapse. Here we go. I hated the process, but I don't hate the results. It's certainly not perfect. But it looks like kind of what it's meant to look like. I used a few different reference images, and this is what I came up with. I'm kind of happy with this, although you don't zoom in on this thing, okay? Because we will start seeing some cracks and issues. I really struggle to, because it's not just a grid, right? Like every single one of them pulls in a little bit here. They pull in, and then they pull in, and they pull in, and they're wider, and but it was a lot of fun. I think it looks great. I think it's got a good sort of presence now in the park. And I did, like I said, what we were trying to do is at least get one set of them across the park, across the path even, excuse me, so that we can just have a little bit of coaster interaction there, That'd be really good fun to watch them sort of scooch past you at a, safe but would feel a lot better distance, I think. So there we go. All right, last thing I want to do today then is just finish off the station. I don't think we'll do the whole queue, and we certainly won't sort of really tie it into the rest of the park because we're still working on the boat ride here, but I definitely want to get the grounding down. And I found these awesome pieces on the toolkit that are like blobs of pebbles, so you can sort of layer the thing with pebbles. And I'll be honest with you, I genuinely think it's the thing that Pinewood has been missing. If we look at a lot of the coaster foots here, I didn't record this. I custom supported this as well. After the feedback of the last episode, which basically said it doesn't need to be on a pillar, but the concrete supports do need to be up and out of the water. So actually changed this wall to match this, so it's originally all of one part of the boardwalk. Might even take this fence along there as well, actually, and then put these in, so sort of spread them out, made them look all nice, and custom supported that. So that's what I did this, and then I thought, this isn't so bad, I could probably do a whole ride, and then I regretted all my life choices. But yeah, actually think this turned out pretty good. So I can't remember why I came over here. Oh, but yes, sorry, yes. Here, just this sort of concrete ground, like it's fine, and it's a good example of what the sort of, jank rides look like. They're just stood there. They don't really make much sense. They're not really tied into the terrain or anything. But Pebbles, oh yes, that's the way to go. So I'm not going to be doing it with every coaster, obviously. Like things like the Woody there don't need it, but this I think I'm going to Pebble. Arrow's probably fine. It's more of a terrain coaster. It doesn't need it. What else have we got? Where can I pebble? I want to pebble everything. Might come in and pebble here. I think this would make sense to be pebbled. And that's probably it. This should totally be pebbled. Yeah, it's the exact sort of thing we're looking for with the sort of level of jank. So yeah, we're going to be pebbling everything. Ooh, but for now, we're just going to pebble the Boomerang. Okay, look at those pebbles. We love the pebbles. I'm genuinely so happy about these. Station then, again, we've sort of ripped it from over there. Less ostentatious than that one there. I don't know, maybe this pillar would sit better over there. No, maybe not. I don't want to ruin the line of the coaster too much. No, but this is fine. So yeah, we've moved this across. Again, just a little bit of variation in how the thing goes together. Slight Nordic-y vibe is what I'm trying to go for here. I'm kind of thinking, late 70s Swiss chalets, not the restaurants here in North America, but like actual Swiss chalets. Not tofu. What was it called? The thing you dip cheese in. Fondue. You know what I mean? Like there was a bit of a vibe. Like big, thick nets and thick knit sweaters. There was definitely a vibe in the UK in the late 70s of some Nordic caverns. So that's kind of what we're pushing towards here now with the Boomerang. But again, it's super simple. This is a very under budget park, so it's little bits of trim here and there. This thing is actually from the Queen Dynasty set. I know that was a Venture Pack or World's Fair or something, but just a great little bit of trim here. So yeah, coaster track is all done. We put a little bit of work into the queue, but not much. Again, did say that we probably wouldn't do that today. The main that was the photo I was working towards today. I wanted that basically. So station is now all done, and we have some red and white fencing here that sort of goes along with the coaster and with the accents of the rest of the area. And but then also we have the don't die fencing as well, just a little bit further back. So like the fact that the don't die fencing doesn't, again using lots of reference pictures, doesn't have to cover all of the support. It's okay. Like if you get onto this support, you ain't climbing up it. So it doesn't really matter. Like obviously there will be a fence here. We can't have people just sort of hopping down into there. But as far as the the fencing goes, it doesn't really matter that the fencing is actually behind some of the supports, as long as it's behind where the coaster meets the ground. It should be okay. So we have the pretty fencing and then the don't die fencing. Hopefully just kind of sort of blends in. But again, this is a budget park. It's very janky. It is just going to be there. And then these pebbles, my word, look at these. I'll show you the parts. There's a whole set of them, and they go from they're square and circle. And they're 6 meters right down to like half a meter, I think. Here we go, look. So we've got all of these, square and circle. So the actual space you can cover with them is really quite impressive. Obviously, for the most part, we've just used the big square there. So you do get a little bit of repetition amongst them if you just sort of really span them down. What I've noticed you can come in if you really want to is you can bring in the circle ones just to break up those divots. I don't necessarily suggest we do it everywhere, but just a few of them, and it kind of just breaks up the pattern. Maybe it does need a few more. I don't know. They can sort of come in here and they just start to break up the pattern where you've covered a larger area of them. But for the most part, I think these are great. I really do. Yeah, I actually quite like that, covering up the pattern there. But again, the other reason I don't mind the pattern so much is it is the sort of thing that would get raked. Like there would be staff coming in here every few weeks, pulling up some of the worst weeds and raking these over, and that's why the foliage that we've done in here is all sort of weeded foliage. Basically, it's all sort of stuff that wouldn't really grow. It's meant to not be there at all, and that's why there's a little bit more of it under the coaster tracks, because it's the area where the handyman just wouldn't get to or couldn't get to, or was like, yeah, I'm not bothered, I'm not climbing under there. So they would, rake the area over when they can, and then the weeds would quickly grow up where the little bit of moisture is gathered in the cracks and in the areas in between the rocks and stuff. So that's what we're going for. I'm really happy with this. I watched back a few Pinewoods in preparation for bringing this series back, and I realised how very negative I very often sound, and don't get me wrong, I embrace the good enough. I'm all about the good enough. The old shrug bandit, I'm there for it. But I do realise that sometimes I maybe get a little bit too negative about my work, so I'm not going to. If I think something's cool, I'm going to say it's cool, and I think this is pretty cool. This looks like a really great late 70s addition to a budget UK theme park, and that is exactly what I'm trying to do. That might be the theme. That might be the screenshot there as well. That's the other thing that's really tricky with these, is to find a good screenshot, because look, crappy Pebbles and don't die fencing. You want to watch this video, don't you? It doesn't really tie in with the old thumbnail aesthetic, but we'll see. Maybe we just ignore all of this and just show off this gorgeous manor that is now in the park, thanks to Mineral. So yeah, thank you to Mineral for doing all of this for us. Thank you so much for watching. In the next couple of episodes, we will... Oh no, this thing has started to spread out. What is happening here? Nothing to do with me. Sorry. In the next episode, we'll start to tie up this area. In our live streams, we'll be finishing up the boat ride here. We need to concrete a little bit more here. We need a boat shed here as well. So looking forward to carrying on with that. If you are free on a Saturday sort of morning, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, make sure you're checking us out, because we will be live streaming at work here. Thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love you all to bits. Until the next one, be good.